All right. It's
All
okay.
right, let's close our eyes as we pray. Our good and gracious Heavenly Father, Lord up above in heaven, thank you for this opportunity. Thank you for this time together. I pray, dear God, that you may lead. I pray that you may give us all the wisdom and all the ideas that we need in order to get exactly what the expectations are from this session. I pray, dear Jesus, that you may make this exactly what you need it to be, but exactly what your children need it to be. Use me, and may you also make fertile ground in the hearts of your children so that they may receive everything that will be shared on here. Thank you for this time, and thank you for what you are going to do. In Jesus' name I pray. Amen. Alrighty, so the High Earning Purpose Practitioners Masterclass. I'm really excited for this one. And yeah, you'll understand why. So I run a training and development firm, and maybe let me just switch to this so that you can understand. All right. So just some
Okay.
introductions to me. I am Mpumi. My full name is Numpumelelo, so Mpumi Kembonani is what I'm affectionately known as. And for my
Okay.
9 to 5, I work at a bank as a junior product manager. And 5 to 9, which is when I get home, and the rest of the
Yeah.
time, I am the CEO of Purpose Practitioners Club. And basically, what we do is we're a training and development firm that really empowers and equips young professionals with knowledge and resources to help them thrive and to help them excel in arts, disciplines, and professions that are in line with their purpose. When I started out, I was the only one working in the company. So I was the purpose alignment strategist. And basically, my target markets was everyone who felt stuck in careers they settled for and jobs they hate, and really helping them discover their purpose and turn that purpose into an impactful, a fulfilling, and a sustainable profession. And the reason why that was very important to me was because I was that person not so long ago. And so when I discovered my purpose, it completely changed the game for me. I was able to establish this business. I'm able to coach other people. I was really able to unlock so many things and step out of limiting beliefs, so much so that there's absolutely nothing I don't believe I can do, because there's just a lot I
Wow.
know about myself, and also all these things that I can accomplish. And I'm just leading everybody to that. If you know Harriet Tubman, you know that she was a slave back then. And when she gained her freedom, she didn't just sit in that freedom. She went back into the fields to go get everybody else that was a slave so she could set them free. And that's basically what I do. I go back into the fields, into these corporates and whatever other construct that people have, to really get them from that place to a place of freedom where they love what they do, where they're able to become high earners because of what they do and fulfill their call or God's call over their lives. And you may be
So
asking what
I'm
a purpose
sorry.
practitioner is. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So when you discovered your purpose, how did you actually know that it is your purpose?
That's an interesting question. It's because I went on a search. I went on a search. I did all the research that I could that was out there. I prayed about it. I cried about it. But here's the thing. So how I settled on this was that I was always frustrated by people who say, "Oh, find your purpose. This is what purpose looks like," but nobody was really showing us the how. Until God revealed
Yeah.
to me that nobody has the answers to the how, because He has given me the mandates to show others what the how is. So I would have never, and I guess the reason it was such a struggle for me was because I was meant to liberate others. And you'll understand when I talk you through the purpose sweet spot, that you actually understand that what you are meant to do is basically sometimes an answer to a question you have yourself. And when you come to a realization of it, you're able to enlighten others about it.
All right.
So
Wow. Amazing.
yeah. And then a purpose practitioner basically is anyone who is actively engaged in arts, disciplines, and professions that is in line with their purpose. I was in a brunch, a ladies' brunch, when somebody mentioned that, us practitioners, and I thought, oh, that's such a lovely name. What does it mean? And when I learned what it means, I'm just like, yes, actively engaged in professions. And I was like, you know what? I don't believe that anyone should be actively engaged in anything that is not God's call for their life or doesn't fulfill their purpose on this earth. I mean, we are all here
Mm,
for a reason, and we're all here to fulfill something. And anything outside of that will never satisfy you, will never fill you. And so, purpose practitioners basically is people who are living their lives exactly the way they were meant to live. And they are just
mm,
fortunate because in solving a problem, they get paid for it. And why
yeah.
be a high earner? Why be a high earner? Firstly, because I believe that God calls everyone to wealth. I don't believe in a God who is expansive, who owns heaven and earth, and who then glories in us suffering or struggling. He's a God
Yeah.
who wants us to really make it. In fact, when you read Deuteronomy 28, you learn that he has so many blessings in store for everybody who will just obey. When he took the Israelites out of Canaan, he was
Mm,
telling them that your barns will be full, that your fields will never run dry, that you will be known in the
mm,
city and the country. He will bless you in your travels. And when you look at all of
yeah.
that, you just like, this God had so much in store for people who obey him, people who trust him, people who delight in him. And if we can follow in
Mm,
that path, then being a high earner is our portion. He wants us to enjoy the beauty and the fullness of everything. In fact, he says, I have come so that you may have life and have it more abundantly. And we know that money is now a means of exchange. And if we are to have life in abundance and also just a life of abundance so we can help others to get to that abundance, then it's good for us to earn high and to be wealthy. In fact, I read something, I think it was Anthony Matthew or Andrew Matthew, I can't remember his name, but he says
yeah.
the best way to help the poor is to not become one of them. And we
Mm,
see so
wow.
much around us, so much around us,
Mm,
and people are struggling, and we can't help them if we're struggling like them. So it's
true.
really our mandate to be high earners, just so we can experience the expansiveness of God, but also so that we can
Mm,
help those who are underprivileged and who aren't as privileged as us.
yeah, true.
All right. So as I go through the masterclass, I'll just ask that you put yourself on mute, and then in the end, we will have a Q&A session. Okay.
All right, cool.
Awesome stuff. Let's get right ahead. So, let me first introduce this entire concept like this. When I first thought of the the high earners purpose practitioner masterclass, I was looking at the one thing that the clients that I have in my signature program, Purpose to Profession, really absolutely love. And it is when we get to an assessment of their strengths. Number one, when we do this assessment, they learn so much about themselves, just as individuals, so much about who they've been presenting and who they've left behind as people. But also, when we learn of our strengths, we actually it unlocks so many opportunities. You realize how much valuable you are in the marketplace, how much valuable you are as a human being, whether it's your personal or your professional brand. You actually understand just how much value you can learn, or you can attribute to yourself when you know exactly who you are and how much you've got to give. So basically I extracted that particular lesson and I developed it and created all these other templates because I really believe it's one of the most amazing things that we do in the program, and it is such a great foundation for every other lesson and every other practical application that we do. So you're going to get one session out of 12 sessions from the program that I run, because I really believe that it's absolutely amazing. Also, it's from these very things that I knew about myself that I was able to have multiple streams of income when I speak to my clients. In fact, all the work that I do is centered and anchored on all these strengths because they are just that amazing. But also, I recently got promoted to junior product manager. And when I did get the promotion, it was because I really captured everything that I believe will be valuable to this role. And I conveyed it to my boss, and he was blown away by just how succinctly I put it, but how cognizant I was of the value that I can add to the table. And that's exactly what I want for you: multiple streams of income, knowing how to negotiate your salary properly because you're able to articulate your value, but you also have documented that value. And just so many other things that you are going to start discovering from this, and also learning to appreciate and love yourself beyond what you do now. So when you talk about strengths, there are basically 4 themes that we're going to cover. And it's the 4 themes that are consistent, whatever profession, whatever art, whatever discipline, whether you're in corporate, whether you're in academia, in the creative space as an entrepreneur, whether you decide to go into full-time ministry or you establish an NPO, whatever your profession is, wherever you are, these 4 themes are exactly how you deliver value. So if you know where you fall within these 4 themes and how you can communicate it, you can command any price, any level, and actually not even feel like you're an imposter or feel like you are being unreasonable. So let's go. The first theme is strategic thinking. And basically, this theme answers the question, how do you absorb, think about, and analyze information and situations? The strengths in this theme really help you make better decisions and create better income or outcomes rather. They're useful to stretch thinking for the future, whether this is a thinking for a team or an individual endeavor, whatever it is. But basically, when we think strategic thinking, it's how do you absorb, think about, and analyze information and situations to make better decisions and create better outcomes, just so that we have a better future prospects. Okay. And the strengths that are under here are quite, I think there are 9 of them. The first one is analytical. So if you have the strength of being analytical, it means you search for reasons and causes. In everything, you're searching for the reason, you're searching for the cause of something. People here have the ability to think about all of the factors that might affect a situation. When you're analytical, you look at literally all the tentacles, all the branches of a matter, and that's you make decisions from an analytical place. The second one is context. Here, you enjoy thinking about the past. You understand the present by researching its history. You'll find people who are always digging into archives, people who are so fascinated about the future because they understand that it is from the future that we learn not to make mistakes in the present, but also how to navigate the future. And then the next strength is futuristic. Here, you are inspired by the future and what could be. So I think I have hints of this in me where I'm forever thinking about what the future could look like, what the possibilities are. Here, you energize others with their visions of their future. So people who operate from the strength really are able to help others get motivated and energized by showing them visions and also just showing visions that you have of the future. And then the next set is ideation. Ideation, you're fascinated by ideas. You're able to find connections between seemingly disparate phenomena. People with ideation are great to be in design teams because people who have to practice design thinking are great for this particular thing because they're able to find connections between things that are disjointed and really create ideas. And then the other strength is inputs, which is one of mine. Here you have a need to collect and archive. You may accumulate information, ideas, or artifacts, and even relationships. I know with myself, because one of my strengths is that I'm an input, I love to research, to read, to gather information, and then share it. I mean, here I am with all this information. I've put it together in a masterclass and in all these benefits, and I want to share it with you so that you can take it forward and do something for yourself. The next one is intellection. Here, this is characterized by their intellectual ability. People here are very introspective and appreciate intellectual discussions. One of my clients is here in the space, intellection. She's an intelligent human being, and she's actually a lecturer in academia and in the university. And everything that, when you speak to her, she's very introspective. I asked her to do a testimonial for me, and I was blown away by the things she was saying because she really thought about it. Even as she speaks, you can see that she's introspective and she loves having intellectual discussions. And then the next set is you're a learner. Other people are learners. So here you have a great desire to learn and want to continuously improve. The process of learning rather than the outcome excites them. So me, for example, I'm excited about the outcome. I love putting things together and sharing them and sharing the outcome, getting to the outcome. Some people are just fascinated by the journey of learning. And you see people here go on to do their honors and their masters and their PhD because the journey and the process of learning really fascinates them and excites them. And then others here are strategic. They create alternative ways to proceed. They can quickly spot relevant patterns and issues in any given scenario. Strategic people are amazing because when other people don't see things, they're able to see patterns and issues, and they're able to create alternative ways to proceed. And now I'll move to my second theme, but also remember we're gonna get to the template that you can use on how you can bring this together and present it just so that your value is understood. I just want to check if there's nobody waiting for me to open room for them. Okay, it doesn't seem so. We will continue. All right, so the next theme is executing. This one helps you answer the question, how do you make things happen? All right, I need to admit somebody. How do you make things happen? This may help, this is the theme, these are the themes or the strengths in this theme help you turn ideas into reality. It is useful when there is a need to implement a solution, and it speaks to your ability to accomplish goals. So really when we speak about executing, we are saying, how do you make things happen? How do you turn ideas into reality? How do you implement solutions when there are problems? How are you able to accomplish goals? And the strengths under this theme are as follows. An achiever, which is one of my strengths. We work hard and process a great deal of possess a great deal of stamina. We take immense satisfaction in being busy and productive. I promise you, I'm the person who actually wants to listen to a podcast even when I'm showering, because in my head, there are just so many ideas. I'm always like, I need to start this. I need to get busy with this. We are always busy and we want to be productive. So that's when your strength is an achiever. And then other people have the strength of being an arranger. These people can organize, but they also have a flexibility that complements their ability. They like to determine how all of the pieces and resources can be arranged for maximum productivity. And you can already think about people who would have additional streams of income being an arranger. Wedding planners and event coordinators. These are people who have just the knack and the strength for being an arranger. The other one is belief. People here have certain core values that are unchanging. And you may hear people say, oh, you're so stubborn. But really, it's not that you're stubborn. You just have a strength of belief. You can't be shaken from what it is that you believe. Out of these values emerges a defined purpose for their lives. Most people who have this strength of belief, they know what they want to do. They go after what they want to do, and nobody can tell them anything. Whether their belief is in God or their belief is in the work that they do, when they are set in their ways, they go for something straight ahead. And then the other strength is consistency. And here you're keenly aware of the need to treat people the same. You crave stable routines and clear rules and procedures that everyone can follow. So, and this is very interesting because I believe that the one secret or the one key to success is consistency. And you find that people who have consistency as a strength are people who put together procedures and routines, and they're able to follow through on them consistently. So it's setting up these routines and these procedures that helps with their consistency. I know, and we're going to get to another one that is adaptability. I was coaching a client the other day, and she said to me, you know what, I'm so happy to learn that I have the strength of adaptability, because I used to feel like I can't even put together a to-do list, or I can't put together a routine because I never follow it. And people beat themselves up for it, but they're people who have actually got the strength of being consistent because they love putting these things together and it works for them. But some people, not so much. The next strength, deliberative. You take serious care in making decisions and choices. People here anticipate obstacles, but they don't care for the obstacles because they know how to be deliberative to make decisions and choices. The next one is discipline. Here, you enjoy routine and structure. Their world is best described by the order they create. So people who love to create order more often than not have the strength of discipline. The next set is focus. You can take a direction, follow through, and make the corrections necessary to stay on track. These people prioritize and then act. And if you are somebody who's got the strength, then that is how you make things happen. You prioritize and you act. And if your strength is responsibility, you take psychological ownership of what you say and what you do, or what you say you will do. You are committed to stable values such as honesty and loyalty. And if your strength is restorative, you enjoy routine and structure, and your world is best described by the order that you create. Okay. And then the last set, I believe, oh, that was the last set. And then the next theme is influencing. This helps answer the question, how do you influence others? This will help you take charge, speak up, and make sure others are heard. This theme is useful when there is a need to sell ideas inside and outside of organizations to convince others. So in this theme, we've got these particular strengths. Number one, activator, which is one of my strengths. I can make things happen by turning thoughts into action. And that is particularly why I am a consultant. This is particularly why I'm a coach. People come to me with many ideas and many thoughts, and they're just like, what do I do? And I have this thing of being able to really capture their thoughts into action, and they're able to act on that action, or act on that next step. We want to do things now rather than simply talking about them. I absolutely, one of my pet peeves is complainers. People who complain, I'm just like, you're complaining about this. Clearly, you're seeing a problem. What is the solution? What can we do? Let's talk about what we can do instead of what is happening. I'm just that person. And not that I look down upon people who complain. Actually, this is wrong, but it's fine. Okay, no, it's right. I don't look down on people who complain, but I'm just like, let's get things done, because one of my strengths is that I'm an activator. And then the next one is command. People who command have presence. You know, have you ever seen somebody you're just like, yo, that person just stepped in and they commanded the room. People who have got presence, they take control of a situation and they're able to make decisions. They don't make a noise, they don't cause a scene, they just command a space. You've probably seen people like that. And then the next set of themes is communication. And remember, we're talking about how you influence others. People here generally find it easy to put thoughts into words. One such person was who's this guy? No, not Julius, man. Martin Luther King. Another person who I believe has got the strength of communication is Barack Obama. People who are just so articulate, who have got thoughts and they're able to put their thoughts together, and you're just like, wow, I could listen to you speak all day, because they're good conversationalists and good presenters. The next one is competition. And normally people consider competition as a bad thing. People who've got a competitive spirit as a bad thing. No, it's actually a strength to have a little competition in you, because people who've got competition, or who have the strength of competition, they measure their progress against the performance of others. Sometimes it's good, sometimes it's bad. But for some people, you need the motivation. In and of themselves, they don't really find the motivation they need. So when they can see how far other people are progressing, then they're able to also know what is possible for them and attain those things. So they strive to win first place and revel in contests. I'm not one such person. I always stay in my lane, do what I have to do. But some people love competition because they thrive in competition. Outside of competition, they don't know what to do with themselves. All right, and then the next set is maximizer. People here focus on strengths as a way to stimulate personal and groups excellence. So they're not the person who will say, oh, you need to work on your weakness, No, they're just able to focus on what is strong about something and maximize on that strength. They seek to transform something strong into something superb. And then we have self-assurance as a strength. People here feel confident in their ability to take risks and manage their own lives. They have an inner compass that gives them certainty in their decisions. All right, and then the next set, which I believe is the last set, is significance. These people want to make a great impact. They are dependent and prioritize projects based on how much influence they will have on their organization or people around them. These are people who can never just work for a paycheck. I'm one such person. I can just to get money, I can't. Just to clock in and out, I can't. Just to type, I can never. I want to make an impact. And I'm assuming that you're here as well, because you fall into the category of people who want to make an impact, want to do meaningful work. And then the last one in this theme is woo, and that woo stands for winning others over. They love the challenge of meeting new people and winning them over. They derive satisfaction from breaking the ice and making a connection with someone. I don't believe I've got the strength because I'm so reserved. I am so reserved. I love keeping to myself. If you come and talk to me, we will have a fantastic conversation, but I may not be found coming to you to have a conversation with you. But there are people who are just generally social butterflies. They will network, they will connect, and they will do whatever it takes to win other people over. You find people who, the first time you meet them, they're already telling you about an idea they have, or they're pitching something. I was doing a motivational talk for matriculants. I believe it was was it September, October? I can't remember. In October. But when I got there, this other guy saw me with a camera and is like, wow, you have a camera, great. You know, we can actually start this business because I also love photography. We can go to schools and revive this whole photo shoots business or culture. And he was pitching ideas. And clearly he's a person that can win others over. If you're that person, then this is one of your strengths. And then the last theme we're going to tackle is relationship building. This answers the question, how do you build and nurture strong relationships? This theme may help you hold a team together, or people who are predominantly in this theme may help you hold a team together. It is useful, or strengths within this theme are useful when there's a need for teams to be greater than the sum of their parts and for bonds to be strengthened. And here are the strengths under this theme. Number one, adaptability, which I spoke about earlier. These people prefer to go with the flow. You can throw anything at them and they will rise to the occasion. They are not fixated on plans and routines. Just give them something and they're adaptable. They tend to be now people who take things as they come and discover the future one day at a time. These people don't plan for 5 years or 10 years. They take life as they come. Some people are just like, oh, that's so risky. But for them, their strength is to make the most of the situation and really make the most of it. The next one is connectedness. Here, you have faith in the links, among other things. You believe there are few coincidences and that almost every event has meaning. You always find these people who are conspiracy theorists, who see links where links can never be found by other people ordinarily, but they are able to see. They're able to connect dots and make things out of nothing, really. And you'll find later when I speak to you about the 34 revenue generating ideas, why this is such a useful strength. Then the next one is developer. This is another one of my strengths. We recognize and cultivate the potential in others. And this should not surprise you because I am a coach, I am a consultant, I run a training and development firm that really helps people operate in their purpose. We spot the signs of each small improvement and derive satisfaction from evidence of progress. All right. The next set is empathy. You can sense other people's feelings by imagining themselves in other lives or situations. People who are empaths, they feel, they call themselves feelers because they take on other people's feelings, other people's emotions, and it's burdening for others, but for others it's just, hey, I can see where you are and I can meet you at that point. The next one is harmony. They look for consensus. They don't want conflicts. They would rather seek areas of agreements. For them, it has to be a win-win situation. They don't thrive in areas where there's competition or there's conflict. And if you're this person, then it's good, because that very strength could be the one that helps you bring teams together, and you can identify possibilities where having the strength can unlock income potential for you. Then the next one is an includer. Here, you accept others. You show awareness of those who feel left out and make an effort to include them. The people who just like, everyone can join. This is everybody's benefit. If you're this person, there's absolutely nothing wrong with it. It's the strength that you can use to hold teams together. The next one is individualization. Here, people here are intrigued with the unique qualities of each person. They have a gift for figuring out how different people can work together productively. I believe this is such a unique one in really holding teams together, because you're able to leverage on what every person brings to the table. You don't try to make everyone the same. You don't try to make square people fit in round pegs. You literally position people where they will thrive most and where they can be best utilized. The next one is positivity. People here have contagious enthusiasm. They are upbeat and can get others excited about what they are going to do. I don't know if you know a lady called Mapaseka Kwetle. She acts on Scandal. She's the lady who says, "Dumelang batho ba ko hae and welcome to Mototo Friday." I love that lady. She is the epitome of positivity. If there was ever anybody that has contagious enthusiasm, who is upbeat and can get others excited over nothing, these people are great. Or if you're this person, you are great in really how you bring a team together and create that morale. And relator is another one. This is one of my core strengths as well. People here enjoy close relationships with others, and they're also able to foster these close relationships in a team of people who are here, then everywhere. They are great to bring people together. You find deep satisfaction in working hard with friends to achieve goals. And then I'll just leave this here. This is the end of the masterclass. But what I want to say, the reason I have the slide here is to invite you to Purpose to Profession, which is opening in February next year, which is the third cohort. And the reason this invitation is particularly important is because I probably went through all of these and you're like, whoa, what are my strengths? Oh no, how do I know? And in the program, we actually give them access to take the assessments that unlocks these strengths for them, and they're able to then learn and build on them. But even though you didn't take the assessments as you didn't now, you're actually able to choose at least 5, maybe one from each theme, which will be 4, and then another one from any of the themes that resonates a lot with you. One that really speaks to you and about you. Also just thinking about the work you've done and the experience that you have. Put those together and build on that as you continue on your purpose practitioner journey. But now I want to share, I don't know if you can, I don't know what screen you're seeing right now, but I'm going to share a different screen. And this screen here is the value proposition template. Now I've gone through all these themes. I've gone through all these strengths. Now I want to teach you how to use them. Okay. So now you have here the high earners value proposition template. This is a template you can use to capture and articulate your value add across all 4 strengths. Whether you are in a job interview, a performance review, a promotion discussion, or whether you're closing a sale or converting a client or pitching brands for collaborations and partnerships. Okay, so in the strategic thinking, when you now, and whatever the question may be, or I know, now I've forgotten your name. I don't know why. Let me just look at it. I'm so pedantic when it comes to those things. I want to actually get your name right. Polivia. So Polivia, you said that you want to negotiate your salary, right? Okay. So now You're sitting in your performance, in your salary negotiation or performance review, and you want to articulate your value. So this is literally what you say. I want to, okay, so obviously you won't reveal these strengths because this is now our secret thing, or our, they don't have to know everything. So this is what you say, particularly as it relates to strategic thinking. You say, this is how I absorb, think about, and analyze information and situations. And then you give your strength. One of my strengths in that area is that I am an achiever, or rather, I think it's inputs in that space. So I say, this is how I absorb, think about, and analyze information. I am a researcher. So as a researcher, I love the idea of going out and finding out information, putting that information together and sharing it with people. This is how I believe my method of thinking will be useful for this opportunity. Or in your case, this is how I've seen this way of thinking being useful in this role. Okay, and then you show them, yeah, we'll see. While I was doing this role, this is how I was able to, because of the strength that I have of strategically thinking in this way, this is how I've been able to use the strength. And then you say, here is the evidence of how I've made decisions from past experiences. When I was faced with this particular situation, this is how I applied this method, and these are the results of my inputs in this instance, or whatever. And if you're talking about, for me, because it was for a promotion, I literally said, I am a researcher, and how I believe this particular tool or this particular strength will be useful is that for junior product manager, particularly for this, I'll have to research different ways of working, different design thinking strategies and methodologies, really to unify the work that we do. Here is how I've been able to use the strength in the past. When I was an analyst graduate in the sales team, I did research on how to increase sales. I was actually putting together the strategies for each sales team, or for each sales member in the sales team. I helped them so literally I spoke like that, and I said, these are the results. After I was able to implement those things, after I was able to research, we were able to close more deals in a shorter period of time, this, that, and the other. So that's how you use this particular strategic thinking. Then you get to executing. You say, this is how I make things happen or turn ideas into a reality. I am an achiever, or I'm an achiever. Right. In this particular space, then you say, this is how I believe my method of taking action will be useful for this particular opportunity. And whether you're pitching a brand and whether you're closing a client, I can literally say to my coaching clients, this is how I make things happen. You come to me with many ideas, and I take those ideas and we put them together into 3 goals. And then I help you achieve these 3 goals in this way, and the other. How I believe this way of thinking and this way of taking action will help you is that you will have top priorities, you will have strategies for each priority, you will have milestone to mark how you've been behaving or how you have been doing the work. And at the end of 12 months, these will be your results. And then I say, here's the evidence of some solutions I've implemented in my past experience. Here's a testimonial of somebody who wanted to write a book for the longest time, but didn't know how to start. I helped them strategically put together a system for their success, and they were able to write the book in 12 months. Here's someone who needed to develop a system for an accounting exercise at work, or an accounting system that they were putting together. They did this, that, and the other, and in the end, they were able to create a template or a system for their boss or their company. Here's the evidence, right? So I've already displayed the evidence, and these are the results of my inputs. So you think about really how you've been able to execute, go back to the strengths that I shared with you and pick out one that speaks to you on executing. Whether that strength is the fact that you are consistent, if that was you, and you are consistent, and consistency is the one for you, then you let them know that I was able to put routines together. I was able to put policies and procedures. And in that way, we were able to achieve this, that, and the other. Okay. Whether you're negotiating a salary or promotion or it's a job interview, and they're like, why should we hire you? Well, sir, you should hire me because I am an achiever. And as an achiever, my mantra is, I will finish it. I work on having clear goals and hard work, and I thrive in situations where I can have a strong work with ethic, where there are continuous challenges to be achieved regarding any task. I achieve goals and deadlines, dreams, and ambitions. You just let them know. And you tell them that where there are continuous accomplishments, you are the person that they should hire. And obviously, you think about this in context of what it is that they require. So you bring your strengths into what is necessary for that particular role and you communicate it eloquently. The next one is influencing. Okay. As an influencer, you say, this is how I influence others to take charge. Speak up and make sure others are heard. And I think there is a message here that is coming through in the chats. Let me just read it so that I don't leave anybody behind. So do you also help with branding, marketing, and automation? We'll get to that. We'll get to that shortly. Let's let me finish this and then we'll talk later. Okay. So influencing, right? That's where we are now. You say, this is how I influence others to take charge, speak up, and make sure that others are heard. And then you say, I'm an activator. I'm the person who says, I'll start it. And that's literally how I influence people. I make sure that I use my voice as an activation tool to inspire them. I use stories and I make sure that they can see where they are. I use my activation to promote and to inspire others to take action. When there are ideas and visions, you can rely on me. This is how I believe my method will be useful for this opportunity. You let them know that I've seen that the people here, or maybe not like in a bad way, but you say, I've noticed that the team that we have is disjointed in this way and the other, maybe they are demotivated. I will use my ability as a speaker to literally drive them and then you say, here's the evidence of me doing it in the past, or here's how I've applied it from my experience. In the past, I was able to convert 6 people to join my program just from them hearing me speak in a webinar. I use my voice as an activation tool. Or for you, you can say as, let me see, what are the other ones? Significance, or maybe let me not use significance, but competition. Yes, if one of your strengths is competition, you will say, I realize that we are trailing behind from our competitors. If you work in a bank, you will say, I see that as Standard Bank, FNB is far ahead of us in terms of this, that, and the other. And I love competition. I'm the person who wants to champion something, and I always say that I'll win. So because of that, then I will put together measurable challenges for us, and we can work on these challenges over a period of 6 months just to make sure that we overtake our competition, or we actually are on par with them, so that in a couple of months' time, we're able to grab market share and we're able to do this, that, and the other. This is how I've done it in the past. In my team, on my previous employment, this is what I've been able to do, whatever. And if you're pitching a brand, let's say you're an actual influencer, you're pitching a brand, what you say is that I have an audience of this many people. I was able to influence them to do this, that, and the other based on my competition strength. And these are the results that we've been able to accomplish just from that one thing. You grab your strength within this team and you make sure that you talk about it. Whatever the question is, or however it's phased, you always make sure that you center your responses around these particular things. They could say to you, how would you deal with a difficult team member, right? And all you do is, now I'm speaking about relationship building, all you do is go to your strength within that. I would say I'm a relator. My mantra is always, I'll stabilize it. When there's unshaky ground, or where there's shaky ground, I'm able to bring stability. And this is how I've been able to nurture strong relationships in the past. I am authentic in nature. I always foster a culture of loyalty and trust, and I'm able to speak the language of the people, and I'm able to also articulate the language of management. So if there was ever a difficult person, I try to relate to them, relate to where they are, what they're going through in their mind, and how we can accomplish this particular aim and that. Where have I done this before? I was working in a team, and you tell a story of how you've done it before. And after you did it, this was the result. You see, so it's always, this is how I do it. This is how I believe it will make sense or it'll be beneficial for this opportunity. This is this, and then you relate how you've done it in the past, and then you say, and these are the results that I've gotten in the past, and that's why I believe I can get similar results for us in this particular thing. And now I believe I've been talking a lot and maybe overwhelmingly. I'd like you, if you've got thoughts around this, to unmute yourself and let's have a chat around whether this makes sense and whether you believe it can actually make a difference when you have your job interview, your performance review, your promotion discussion, whether you are pitching a brand or you are actually just trying to convert a sale for your own organization or your own business. So I'll give you maybe 5 minutes for us to have a discussion. Maybe you can also just speak about the strengths that I revealed to you or shared with you in the actual masterclass. And yeah, let's talk. How are you feeling? Do you see this having a potential to work for you? Let me stop sharing so I can actually see you. Olivia, Moana. Hey, what are your thoughts? Do you see how you can actually use this for your salary negotiation?
Yeah. So as you were as you're going through the different strengths, I was also thinking about what I've done and how I can actually talk about it. Because I think I was struggling to actually put what I've done into, like, put it in a picture that can actually communicate the value that I've brought to the business. So yeah, based on that, I think I can do that. And I think the one thing that I need to now work on is the confidence to actually know how to articulate the value clearly, and also talk about my strengths without feeling like I'm being obnoxious or I'm being like I'm boasting. Yeah.
I hear that. And it's a common thing. It's a common thing, especially among women. We just feel like whenever we say, oh, I'm a great communicator, that it's like, oh, when so much pride. Why are you gloating? But honestly, the work doesn't speak for itself. And that's one misconception we have with, oh, my work will speak for itself. No, you have to speak to the work that you've done because it will never speak for itself. If you don't come out and say, this is who I am, this is what I've done, it ain't gonna work. When I had my promotion discussion with my boss, I was like, yo, he's probably gonna think, who does this girl think she is? And he received it so well, so much so that when he was announcing to the rest of the team about the promotion and where everyone was placed, he used the actual words that I used in my conversation with him. He put the actual strength. He said, as an activator, she will be able to do this. As a researcher, she will be pivotal to this, that, and the other. He actually used the very things because he was impressed by how I was so aware of myself and how I knew that this particular strength will help for what the role requires. So if you are shy about the value that you bring, they will never see the value. And even if they do, they won't put it succinctly as you will. And you need it for your portfolio, for everything. You need to have these things together. And trust me, whenever they say, why should we give you this opportunity? Why should we hire you? These are the things that you use when they say, tell us about yourself. Well, I'm Bumi and I am a developer. I see the potential, the latent potential in people, and I'm able to turn that potential into not just purpose, but profession. I'm not tooting my horn. I'm telling them exactly what my strengths are and how I operate based on that strength. It's not pride, it's self-awareness. And maybe that's the reframing that we need to put. And also it's showing the value, because sometimes people will refuse to see your value just so that they don't compensate you according to that value. So we can work on the confidence another time. But knowing these things is enough to give you that boost or to start the momentum of confidence for you.
All right, cool. Thank
Yeah.
you.
Mona.
Mpumi, thank you so much for sharing these with us. I would start by apologizing because I joined a bit late. So
No,
I
but it's
may
okay.
have, yes, I may have missed, part of, the information you've already shared. But I came in when you were discussing different forms of, I don't know, maybe the types of people, how we categorize ourselves. So I have recorded that. I will internalize it, and I guess it will certainly assist me in my personal development. Definitely I will find categories that resonates with me. I'm also looking at the point where I am in my life. I'm actually transitioning from corporate environment to being self-employed. So
Now you're on the same boat.
okay. Yes, so I guess that will really help me as I embark on this process of finding my feet and really being aware of the kind of categories I would perhaps maybe put myself in. So
I started recording the session when we started, so it'll be available when this is over. I will send an email out with all these templates and a link to the recording. So you'll have it all there. And maybe just to give you some context, when we started, I said that each of us have got strengths that can be categorized into 4 themes. And that's strategic
okay.
thinking, it's executing, it is influencing, and it is relationship building. And
Okay.
in all those themes, we've all got strengths, and my strengths are my 5 core strengths that I use for everything, literally everything. And it is my core because it's at the top. Really, when you summarize me as a person, you find me, you find pieces of me and my characteristics in these strengths. I'm an activator. I'm the person who says I'll start it. I'm an achiever. I'm the person who says I will finish it. I'm a developer. I want to develop others and be myself developed. And it's no surprise that I am in the personal and professional development space. And another one is input. I'm a researcher. I'm always the one who says, oh, what do we need to do? I'll research it. Don't worry. And the last one is I'm a relator. I love to stabilize situations. So when there's some conflict or mismatch, I'm always the one who says, okay, I see the confusion. Let me stabilize things. So those are my 5 core strengths. And literally all the business that I do, and even at work, the things that I do are centered around these 5 core strengths. And when you know your 5 core strengths, it changes your world. It changes your speech. It changes your perspective. It changes how you present. It changes how you do things. It literally changes everything.
Oh, that's very interesting, and I will certainly listen to the recording, and I'm sure it will contribute significantly to my own, personal development as well. Thank you, Mpumi.
So there's a couple of other things that I want to share, because I promised you a lot of things and I'm going to give you all those things that I promised. Okay, so the next thing that I want to share with you is, let me just quickly go there, is some RGIs, revenue generating ideas. And maybe before I go there, let me go to the purpose sweet spot. My most favorite, my most favorite of all the things that I do, really helping people tap into their purpose. Okay, so purpose sweet spot. This is the foundation of everything that I do. Oh no, and of everything that I will ever do. This started my trajectory and it is the one thing that I use in everything that I do. So I've got a purpose to profession starter course, and it's basically a brief introduction to this and how to populate it. But in the purpose to profession 3-month program, we literally spend 2-hour-long sessions really unpacking and doing exercises that speak to each of these circles. But for the benefits of this, what we're doing here, I will just talk you through it. Okay. So when I spoke to you now about strengths, these are our natural abilities. Okay. So I want you to when you get this, or whether you want to do it on a separate paper, to write down your 5 core strengths, your natural abilities. For me, as I mentioned, it's activator, developer, achiever, relator, input. And then the red bubble is your supernatural gifts, and these are your spiritual gifts. Okay. So my spiritual gifts, my primary and secondary, is wisdom, teaching, knowledge, evangelist, pastor, and interpretation. Okay. And then the yellow bubble is ministry. When I say ministry, I don't want you to think about church or going into mission. Basically, how I define ministry is meeting the needs of others. So whether it's meeting needs in corporate, or meeting needs in your community, or meeting needs as an entrepreneur, whatever the situations, whatever the problems are, your ministry is basically meeting those needs. And I'll give you an example with my own practice. So the needs that I identified, or the problems that I saw, were that people were staying stuck in cycles, right? So there's lack of vision and there's bad decision making. And sometimes these cycles meant you move from one job that you hate to another, because you really just don't have clarity on what to do. Another thing is that there's misery in employment and people are not living in their purpose. Another one is that there's obviously lack of clarity of purpose. And the biggest problem there was that nobody was sharing the how. People would always flaunt, oh, purpose feels so great. Oh, the day I found my purpose, or I love my purpose, but nobody would share the how. So now I've got all these needs that I've identified. I'm well aware of my spiritual gifts and my natural abilities. And then I thought, how do I bring this all together? How do they come together to form part of my why, which is my purpose? And so I will take you through where ministry and supernatural gifts, so where yellow and red come together. This becomes your message or your mission. So your supernatural gifts, and where your supernatural gifts and your ministry come together, becomes your what it is you do, what your message and your mission is. And for us, the message or the mission is Ecclesiastes 3 verse 22, which is the bedrock of Purpose Practitioners Club. And it says, nothing is better than that a man should find joy in the work that they do, because that is their heritage. And I thought, oh my goodness, people are miserable in their jobs. And here I'm reading that nothing is better than for them to find joy in the work that they do. Wow. That is their heritage. So if they get clear on their purpose, they will then enjoy the work that they do, and they will get unstuck from these cycles of going from one place to another with really no revelation of what they need to do. So my message then became, you don't have to get stuck in this misery. You don't just have to work to pay the bills. You can create an impact if that's what you want for your life. As well as this, I was saying, and also it's profitable to live in your purpose and to operate in your purpose, because God wants us to be wealthy. And He gives us all these talents so that we can multiply them and get fed from them. And so that became my mission then, to get people who are stuck in careers they settled for and jobs they hate, to discover their purpose and then turn that purpose into a fulfilling, because they were miserable in their jobs, and impactful, because they want to live lives of impact, and sustainable, because they still want to live, right? Into those elements become what their profession now is. So I've settled the what. That is what I'm going to be doing. And then where the ministry, the needs are supposed to meet, and your natural abilities come together, that then informs the who. Because if you think of, when I thought about it, I'm a developer, and people, there's a lack of clarity There's a lack of clarity of purpose among people. So I can literally use this developer strength of mine, which is to help people tap into their purpose for this very thing. Okay, cool. I'm a relator. And as a relator, I can relate to people and bring stability to their situations. And the need that I saw is that people are staying stuck in cycles. Okay, so I can bring stability as I relate to them. This is very interesting. I'm an activator. As an activator, I inspire others to action. And one of the need that I identified was that they have misery in their employment. So I can inspire them to take action that takes them out of their misery. And I had to ask, of all these strengths that I have as also input, I'm a researcher, right? I research, I read, I gather info, and I share it. Who would most benefit and who would understand the type of research that I churn out and the work that I do? And who are these people who I saw these problems in the most? People who I can also relate to as a relator. And for me, it became young professionals. So I considered my strengths and the abilities that I have innately and the needs I identified. And I said, who can I help with these strengths to meet these problems that I have? And for me, it became young professionals. Great. And then the other one was, so now I'm moving to supernatural gifts and natural abilities. When those come together, this informs your how, your channel, really how you're going to fulfill this message and the mission for your audience. And so here, I already told you that wisdom and knowledge are my spiritual gifts. And wisdom and knowledge particularly matched with input, which is in my natural ability. So I saw that actually my strength that I have innately and the gift that God gave me, they come together because with my strength as an input, which is a researcher, I research knowledge and I'm able to turn that knowledge into actionable steps via wisdom. Great. And then I thought another one of my strengths that I'm an activator. I inspire others to action. One of my spiritual gifts is teaching. And I thought, wow, I can actually use my gift of teaching to further my strength or together with my strength as an activator to further the need that I identified, which is people are miserable in their employment. So I can teach them using my voice or using the knowledge that I have and the work that I've researched to actually help them out of their misery. And that's why we have things like the starter course and the 3-month program. That became the how. I can teach them or activate them towards action out of their miserable employment via this 3-month program. And then also my other strengths is that I'm a pastor and interpreter. And by pastor, I don't mean who's I'm going to stand now and preach to people, but pastor literally means I shepherd others for their spiritual welfare through counseling and encouraging them to walk with Christ and discover and develop their spiritual gifts. Oh, discover and develop their spiritual gifts. Doesn't that sound like something that I discovered as my strength? 100%. I'm a developer. I develop others to reach their unseen potential as a coach. And my other spiritual gift is interpretation. I interpret potentially confusing information so that others can understand and be edified. When I take my clients through the strengths coaching and I unpack everything, they're just like, how did you do that? And I'm only able to do that because of my spiritual gift that I have, but also mixing that spiritual gift with my strength of being a developer. And how I decided to do this was through my podcast, through my YouTube channel, and also through my training and development firm as a coach and a consultant. So I was able to answer then my mission and my message and who it's for and how I'm going to do it. And then in this space here, which is the why, it became the purpose. My purpose is to help young professionals who feel stuck in careers they settled for and jobs they quite frankly hate to discover their purpose, right? Discovering their purpose via their natural gifts and their supernatural gifts, and then turn that purpose, now I'm inspiring them to action, turn that purpose into an impactful, a fulfilling, and a sustainable profession. And that's basically the purpose sweet spot, is where the how, the what and the who come together. And everything that I do at work, everything that I do in my company is always based on what is your mission? What is your message? Who is it for? And how are you able to do it? I never do anything outside of my gifts. I never do anything outside of my strengths. And that doesn't mean I limit myself. What it means is I'm able to not only operate from a level of competence, but from a level of excellence, of genius, and also from a level of purpose, because I capitalize on all my gifts. I capitalize on all my strengths, and I'm able to meet all the needs that are required by my purpose in my 9 to 5 and in my 5 to 9, which is my own profession. I hope I haven't confused you. I hope I've given you some clarity. And I'm going to ask that you unmute yourself so I can gauge where you are. Does this help you? Does this sort of give you a direction of how you can articulate what your purpose is? And then from that space, talk about the value that you bring and how you can actually deliver on that value.
Mpumi, it's Maggie here. Sorry, I have a throat irritation. I hope you can hear me. Can you hear me?
I can actually hear you very well.
Oh, okay. Yeah, no, I was saying that, you know, the information you shared just now, you know, it's very important in terms of clearing one's thoughts, you know, and placing, I can already just see myself using that to really place, you know, my objectives and with clarity. Because I think for me, one of the most difficult issues that I'm facing, you know, I have a lot of ideas, or rather even as I'm working towards or to transition and look for a side hustle as part of the process, quite a lot of ideas comes to mind, but, you know, to segment those ideas, you know, sometimes it becomes overwhelming. So what you shared with us here, it's a very, I can say, you know, it's more mechanical. You can be able to cluster different parts of your objectives, your ideas, the person you are, and be able to combine those in one, you know, a framework that can then assist at a later stage to articulate where am I, you know, in this whole process. So definitely, I think I would want a copy of that. If you are you gonna also share this as part of the information that you will be sharing with us?
100%.
And if you can also, hello.
Yes, you're getting this 100%.
Okay, that's perfect. I can use that to practice what you have just shared here, and you know, maybe stay in touch to have some follow-ups. Thank you.
100%. Thank you so much, Maggie. Olivia?
Okay, so on my side, I think I just found the last slide to be very useful, and it brought a lot of clarity in terms of where I am. So lately I felt like I haven't been operating at my highest level of abilities, and I was like, I've been very frustrated because I feel like there's a lot that I can do, there's a lot that I can achieve, but I'm always underachieving. And I really loved your last statement when you said, so if we know like the areas in which we operate in, and we focus on them, then we will operate at a level of competence and excellence. And I felt like that is exactly the answer that I needed. If I can just sit down and go through the material and know where exactly my strengths lie, capitalize on that, and if I can do that, then I'll be able to, remove all the frustration and actually be able to achieve the results that I'd like to achieve.
Yeah, I love that. I love that. Okay, there are two more things that I want to take you through. This is a proper masterclass. We're in class today. Okay, so now I want to take you through, and the reason I'm doing this now is because of the conversation we've just had. And I like to call this particular piece the High Earners Roadmap. So now how you implement the strategies from this masterclass. This is how I propose you implement it. So it's a 5-point roadmap. The first one is you get clear on your purpose. And I've just showed you the purpose sweet spot that can really help you get clear on your why by bringing in your who, your what, and your how to inform that why. And then once you're clear on your purpose, then you start going on a career mapping journey. Here you put together a map of how you want your career to progress. So you basically say from this point, this is what I want to do now. This is what I want to do next. This is the vision that I have. And there are roads, you map this out in phases of 2 to 3 years at a time. When you go through professional coaching or professional development, they tell you that beyond 2 years in one role or in one particular space, you are basically on autopilot. You are redundant. There's no new challenge. You are not experiencing yourself in other dimensions. You're basically just being a robot. You are on autopilot, on auto mode, doing what you can because you've been doing it for a long time. So when you break it up into 2 to 3 years, I want you to have milestones to say, after these 2 years, this is where I want to get to. And the lovely thing with having a career map is that you're able to, because you know where you're going, then you say, what can I do today to get there? Who do I need to speak to? What skills do I need to acquire to cover my skills gap? What are the things that I need to know? What are the things I need to put under my belt or under my CV to get to that place? Because you've mapped it out. And it's always got to be in spurts or phases of 2 to 3 years, just so that you are improving yourself and you are always excited in the work that you do. Then the third thing is, then after you've mapped out your career, then you do a best fit determination. I love this particular piece because it matches primarily with this purpose clarity. When you know the kind of needs you're meant to solve for, or the spaces that you need to solve for, then you do what I call a best fit determination. Here, you take a value chain. You consider the value chain within your purpose profession. So whether this is in corporate, you literally take a value chain. I did this it was in August when I did this for my particular organization. And I looked at all the different departments, and I work in a bank. So I looked at, we have trade, we have transactional banking, we have people and culture, we have this and that, literally all of that. And I said, based on my strengths, based on the needs that I'm called to serve, based on the purpose that God has given me, based on my spiritual gifts, where would this particular design that I am fit into this into this entire universe? And I said, okay, for me, it's basically in the area of people and culture, where I'm able to influence and help people develop professionally, personally. Right now, I'm in a very technical role. And I thought, so I need to do work here that would lead me there, because that's where I want to go if I decide to stay in the bank longer. And then I thought, okay, so I have to work my way through that. But what is it that I can do right now where I am to get to that place? So you've done a best fit. You've told yourself, this is where you'll best fit. And then the next step is opportunity finding. Then you're like, what opportunities can I find that will either land me there or take me closer to that space. So you've seen the environment, you know the requirements, and you decide, based on my design, I will be able to get into that environment. So you consider first the opportunities that are within your circle of influence or your circle of control. Right now, as I said, I'm in a very technical space. So in the space, the reason I went for that promotion, the reason I actually pitched for that promotion was because it was in the role allowed for me to be able to develop my team, to develop our systems, so that as an achiever and an activator, I'm able to actually see things through. I'm able to influence how my team does work, and how effective we're going to be in accomplishing those things. I actually told my boss, I don't like doing the technical stuff. Yes, I'm a mining engineer, but honestly, I don't like doing these things. It's not in my zone of genius. It's not in my zone of excellence. It's not in my zone of purpose. But this role, because I know that I'm designed for the requirements of this role, I'll be able to do this, that, and the other. And I applied and I pitched and I got the role. So whether you want to work with brands, whether you want to work with individuals in your business, whether you want to work with corporates as a consultant of your own business, whether you want a promotion in corporate, whatever it is, you always follow this roadmap. You're clear on your purpose, you map out your journey, you do a best fit determination, you find opportunities that are in line with or that will take you to where you ultimately want to land, and you apply or you pitch and you do that. And you just keep doing that. And when you keep doing it over 2 to 3 years, you now don't come back to purpose clarity because you're already clear on this. You've already mapped out what the next 2 to 3 years will be. Then you say, so based on based on how I've developed now, will I still be best placed here, or should I look for something else? Great stuff. Let me find opportunities, and you list those opportunities and you pitch and apply to those opportunities, and you keep working like that, like that, like that. Always from the premise, always from the foundation of purpose. And now I want to move to the last bits of information that I want to share with you. I hope what you are seeing now is a slide that says revenue generating ideas. Please confirm.
Yes.
Awesome
Yeah.
stuff. So remember, I said that I don't do anything outside of my strengths. I don't do anything outside of my gifts, because any other thing, I would be shortchanging myself, and I would be shortchanging the people on the other side of my service, whether it's my boss, whether it's my clients. If I do anything outside of what I am competent and excellent in and what I have been gifted in, it will not be to the level that I want it to be. So even these revenue generating ideas, they are all based on your strengths. Okay. So for strategic thinking, which was the first theme, the one is analytical. And the role there that you can play is as a skeptic. And some ideas is you would be best placed where you have to deal with numbers, dates, and facts. So whatever ideas you come up with there, whether those are ideas for your next promotion or your next business offer or whatever it is, it's got to be where numbers, dates, and facts. And I'm going to run through these because you'll have this to look at. The next one is context. The role that the people with this strength have is, or the role that they play is being a historian. Some ideas considering backstories, and they can actually use their memory to their service or to their benefits. So whether this memory is writing memoirs, or if you're going to be in the creative space as an actor or an actress, then you use your memory and you play roles possibly that documents historians. One person who did this very well was Chadwick Boseman, who passed away just recently. He played Jackie, who was it, Jackie Robin, or James Brown, and I think it was Jackie Robbins. All these characters of historians. He had a good memory and he loved bringing those stories to life. Futuristic. If futuristic is your strength, your role is as a visionary. So some ideas is where you can be best placed is where you can execute on visions or forecasts or trends, or actually where you can help small businesses or whatever develop visions for themselves. Or if you want to get into a space where you have to do forecasts and trends, if you're futuristic, that space is great for you. Ideation, your role as an innovator. You'd be great in the creative space or where you are a change agent. Input, your role as a researcher. This is the ideas that you can think about here is where you will be able to share the knowledge that you have. I've just told you I'm a podcaster, I am a coach and a consultant. I use the information that I put together, that I learn and that I use on my own journey to share it and thus generate revenue from that. The next one is in selection. The role here is you're a contemplator. Here you can get into poetry or into philosophy, really anything that's got to do with you being a contemplator and acting on that. The next one is a learner. The role here is that you're a master. So where you can master personal skills or you master experiences or you curate experiences, you would be great here. Strategic has another strength. Your role is being a strategist. So the ideas that you can have is where there's a requirement of fast decision making and action taking. And then the next theme is executing. The strengths here are achiever. Your role is a finisher. And here's some ideas where there are goals, tasks, and deadline driven environments. You would thrive in that. Or you can actually curate or help people achieve goals, tasks, and deadlines. Another thing that I'm going to give to you as a bonus for coming to this masterclass is the strategic success system. I told you that one of my strengths that I'm an achiever, I'm a finisher. So really the strategic success system is where I help you set goals, put tasks to those goals, and achieve those goals over a certain deadline. And that's how I was able to know that I can put together master classes because I have the strength of being an achiever. The next one is a ranger. Here, your role is a conductor, and basically you can facilitate organizational effectiveness within that strength. The next one is belief. Your role is a custodian. The ideas that you can have here or ideas that you can churn is where you're able to establish values, ethics, and norms. And then the next one is consistency. The role is a moderator. Here, ideas is where you can put together rules, policies, and procedures. And whether that is just via conversation, you have conversations that lead to organizations putting policies and rules in place. That's still great. The next one is deliberative. The role is investigator. And here, basically, any environment that will help you avert risk or the aversion of risk, you'd be best placed in here. So if it's risk management within an organization, 100%. The next one is discipline as a strength. The role is a scheduler. Here, if you can have any ideas around planning and creating structure, you would be 100%. Organizations need people who can do their project management or really schedule things for them. People like personal assistants, they have great discipline because they can schedule things well. The next one is focus. The role here is you're a sniper, and whatever environment will require you to hit targets, you would be great there. The next strength is a responsibility. The role is career, and whether this is physical careering or in whatever sense, but where you can deliver work personally, you would be great in those spaces. And then restorative, the role is that you're a fixer or a healer. And this is basically where there are problems, issues, and challenges. And whether that is within organizations or with people themselves or with systems and structures, if you are a fixer or a healer and your strength is restorative, you will thrive in those spaces. And even as you think about revenue generating ideas or multiple income streams, when you think around your strengths, you will be able to do exceedingly well. And then under the influencing theme, activators the strength. I told you that I'm an activator. My role is an accelerator. Like right now, I've just delivered a masterclass to you that will help you accelerate your progress. You will use all these things. You don't have to stretch and all those things. I've given you the templates. I've given you the ideas. You put them together, you implement, and you start seeing results. So whether initiatives, startups, launches, and products, I'm a great person for that. In my program, Purpose to Profession, and I help young professionals really, others discover that their purpose is outside of corporate or outside of what they do. and then they actually start their own startups. And because I'm an accelerator, I take them through the 3-month program. And after that program, they're establishing their own practices, their own professions, their own consultation things, or they start their product-based business because I capitalize on the strength. The next one is command. The role there, you are basically a commander. And the ideas here, you need to put yourself in places where you can direct or control initiatives. So whether this is being a director or board member of an NPO, or starting an NPO where you will be your own director. Awesome. The next one is communication. The role is you are an interpreter. And ideas here, you can get into writing, into music, into drama, arts, and photography, because basically everything that happens there, you are interpreting a message or a moment or a scene or whatever it is. The next strength is competition. The role here is champion. Here, the ideas are sports or projects, because in sports, there's high competition. In projects that would need to gain traction, you are awesome because you will champion that change and that win. The next strength is maximizer. The role you play is an impact player. And basically here, you can get into any space where you will have the ability to enhance low performance. You turn good to superb, or strong to superb, and good to great. The next one is self-assurance. The role here is that you're a groundbreaker. So some ideas is where you can actually follow entrepreneurship or take risks or go into solo opportunities. If you're a groundbreaker and you have the strength of self-assurance, you will do amazingly. The next one is significance. Your role is an ambassador, and basically people who've got the strength, you normally see them as influencers, because brands collaborate with them for them to be ambassadors of the brand because of the influence that they have within their communities. The next one is woo, which is winning others over. The role there is that you're a networker. So you would be great in sales. You would be great as an evangelist. Really, an evangelist is converting people's minds or ideas from one belief to another. You'd be great as a networker or as a host. So you can put together sessions where people can network. You can put together activations and be the host of those activations. And the last thing, oh no, here I don't have ideas. That is, okay. That is so strange. But anyway, in relationship building, the first one is adaptability, and your role here is first responder. So whether this is first responder as in you are a paramedic, or you're a first responder in situations where you basically are a freelancer, and a magazine or whatever will say, hey, we need this, can you be there? If you're adaptable, I remember I told you, people who have adaptability as a strength, they don't look to-do lists, whatever. You can give them, throw anything at them, and they will be good to go. So freelancers, great them. Connectedness is basically a bridge builder. Bridge builders are people who do shows like, remember the lady who did e-relates? I think now she has a show that's called Step In or Come In, something like that, because she's able to mend relationship. Iyanla Van Zandt is a bridge builder. And you can even find bridge builders in the actual sense that they are civil engineers. You get people who have a drive just innately to be civil engineers because that is what they are called to do. Developer, as a coach, this is the work that I do. And then the next one is empathy. Here you're a caretaker, whether this is a caretaker as a nurse, or a caretaker in the home, or a caretaker in terms of, I know people who are caretakers in the work that they do, as in their supervisors and stock takers, whatever it looks like. But if you've got empathy, then that is great for you. The next one is harmony. As a mediator, you will thrive in situations where you can actually go for a win-win situation, where you can strike a harmonious and a peaceful environment in situations. You are great for that. The next one is an includer. The role here is basically you're a chain, and some ideas is you might be a champion for inclusivity in corporations. We know now with the whole LGBTQ plus and Black women in corporates, really everything that's got to do with inclusivity and representation, you are great there. The next one is individualization. Your role is an individualizer. This is basically where you are able to assign people. So as a manager, you would be greater because you assign people based on their strengths. And if you're an individualizer, you can actually be a great career. I know a lady that I'm coaching now in my program. She wants to help kids in high school choose careers. And as an individualizer, she's going to be able to say, based on this and that about yourself, this would be a career that is suitable for you. And teachers are actually great individualizer. If you have people who are called to be teachers and who are operating in their purpose as teachers, because they're able to sort of meet the students at their point of need and really help them more with what they need and give them less of what they don't need. That's great as well. Positivity. Here, your role is an energizer. In any space where you can bring bursts of energy and life, you would be amazing there. And the last one is as a relator. And I am a relator. That's one of my strengths. My role is that I'm a stabilizer. Literally, I don't have a panic bone in my body. When everyone else is panicking, oh no, what are we going to do? I'm calm. I say, here's the solution. I stabilize situations. I stabilize relationships, and it works 100%. So I think that's the last slide. Yeah, that was the last slide. And I am going to stop sharing because this brings us to the end of our masterclass. Whew, I can breathe. I can sigh. And at this point, I want to find out if you have actually gained value from the things that I've just shared now, but just your overall feedback on the masterclass. And I know it's still too early because there's so much to think about, and you're going to have to plot everything that I've said into your notebooks and for your own careers, and that's great. But I just want to find out if I have met the expectations you had, and if there are questions that you have right now that will close the loop for me to answer those questions before we call it a night and I give you all of these things to thrive in your career and as a purpose practitioner. The floor is yours.
Thank you so much, Mpumi.
Okay.
Oh, okay, thank you so much for the masterclass. It was really helpful and insightful. And I also cannot wait to get the material and just go through everything. And hopefully, I just pray that I'll be disciplined and follow through with everything. Because you know how sometimes you can be so super energized and be like, I'm going to do this, and you don't follow through. So I'm just hoping that I'll have the discipline to just go back and really work on the things that I have learned. And then my question for you is that, so after you have sent us the material, can we maybe contact you if we are in need of something, if maybe like there's something that is still unclear, or if we need advice regarding maybe execution or something that we are unsure of, can we
100%.
contact you?
Yeah, I think the email that you got to access this said, welcome to the Purpose Practitioners Club. You're now a member. So my doors are open to you. We can always discuss, whether it's informally or formally, how I can help you execute on next steps. But just as a follow-up on this, what I will do is maybe next week, whether it's Sunday or Monday, I will actually ask you how far you've come and what you've been able to do. And then you can maybe just ask some clarifying questions as well, just so that I can help with that discipline that you spoke about. But outside of that, formally, we can always discuss how we continue working together.
All right, coolies. Thank you.
Mpumi, thank you so much for sharing this information. Of course, you know, I will require a little bit of time to just internalize it. And
I think I've lost you. Is it just me?
I also can hear on my side.
Maybe think it's the network. So maybe let me stop recording.